Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to stand and we want you to make some noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go 3 abreast.
It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello again, it's Wing Nation presented by Drydene, DRF Racing Oils, and by Hercules Tires. Talking sprint car racing and loving our chance to talk sprint car racing. Erin, Evernham, and Steve Post. Erin, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am doing well. We have spent, well, I'm not doing well. I'm stir crazy and I need to see sprint cars. I'm healthy and happy, so I guess that's all we can ask for.
Absolutely. Same here. But I am excited about this weekend.
Yes. Sprint cars on the racetrack. That's what it looks like, and we'll see what happens. So, and what we're going to talk to today on the program is we've tried to talk to a variety of industries, entities, beings, bodies, whatever you want to call them. And we're going to talk about the pay-per-view industry today. Chet Christner from SpeedShift is going to join us. Now, SpeedShift has Terry McCarroll's race this weekend, so we'll certainly talk a little about that, but we also just want to kind of touch base with Chet and see what's going on with no racing for SpeedShift to promote. So we'll be cool. We'll be great to talk about him, talk to him. Now, I did see something, Erin, and it got me thinking. I saw some people out of Millbridge. You know, Millbridge is our local track here. And I saw some folks at Millbridge testing out there.
Yep.
So I may have to go jump the fence and just to get a little vibe of some racing this weekend along the way.
Yeah, maybe just so you can get a little smell of the methanol.
Exactly. So, and one of the things that struck me about that was that it's karting. And our friends at Hefner Racing Products, they are into karting. Yeah, we talk to them a lot about sprint car stuff, but they are big in the karting world. They love the karting world, from sprints to road racing to winged outlaw karts. HRP Streeter Super Stands are the #1 selling brand for karting. And Erin, they've got some great characteristics with these stands.
Yeah, they have automatic electric lifts, rolling stands, and stackers to carry multiple cars. And just like sprint cars, HRP has tire racks, engine racks, bead breakers, and a whole line of karting accessories.
Great stuff. That's for sure. You can find out more at hrpracing.com. That's www.hrpracing.com. Our racing these days is virtual. Yes, there's some karts on the track at Millbridge and maybe some other cars on the racetrack, but what we've had as far as racing goes is virtual. Last week, the World of Outlaws iRacing from the famed Knoxville Raceway on the Marion County Fairgrounds in Knoxville, Iowa. It was a tremendous battle for the second spot between Chase Briscoe, Christopher Bell, and Randy Hannigan. And with the call, Johnny Gibson on Dirt Vision, here it is, our Drydene Diesel all-death-defying move of the week.
And now for the Drydene death-defying move of the week, where one driver simply amazes us with their on-track moves.
Hannigan right back to the inside of Bell. They nearly get together there, and both of them closing on the second place machine of Chase Briscoe. Bell, Briscoe, and Hannigan 3 wide for second down the back straightaway at Lernerville.
Here we come to the white flag, this time by Hannigan, drives it in deep, gets a little bit sideways, 3 wide again off turn number 4, white flag, 1 to go. Who's going to end up in the top 3? It's anybody's guess as Bell drives to the grass, down the backstretch, Hannigan with a run into turns 3 and 4. Hannigan's going to slide up the racetrack, Bell with momentum. It's going to be Bell at the line. Oh my goodness, what a race in that one, Johnny.
That death-defying move was brought to you by Drydene Diesel All Death, the official death of the World of Outlaws and wheelmen everywhere. Visit Drydene.com for more information.
Pride. Passion. Performance. We are Team Drydene.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Hercules Tires and by Drydene DRF Racing Oil. As we continue to navigate our way through COVID-19, we're taking some time and talking to some of our friends across the industry to see what's happening in their lives and their worlds and their businesses. And Chet Christner joins us. Of course, Chet is with SpeedShiftTV. Chet, welcome into Wing Nation.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to catch up with you, and great to hear your voice. I love your call of races, so it's great to hear your voice. And the downturn, the slowdown, what's going on with SpeedShiftTV? I mean, I know you're going to get a little busy this weekend, but what's it been like, and what have you guys worked on here during this downturn?
Well, that was one of the things where whenever it first happened, we were very fortunate in that a lot of the SpeedShiftTV personnel were already into iRacing. And so as soon as we saw that racing was going to shut down, we instantly started up we have an iRacing Champions League that we're running. And we got into that, I think, well before anybody else, and kind of established ourselves there, and are fortunate enough that a lot of the iRacing pro drivers are running with our Champions League. And so I've been actually announcing races, myself and Jerry Van Sickle, a buddy of mine. We've been announcing together. We've been announcing iRacing 2 and 3 races a night, about 5 or 6 nights a week. And so we've been very busy with that. We just had a 1,000 to win event at the virtual Williams Grove. And it's just Alex Bergeron, actually the racer out of Canada, picked up the win, picked up a 1,000 to win event in a sprint car at virtual Williams Grove. And it was one of those deals, too, where a lot of people were like, well, put him in a real race car. Well, Alex Bergeron is a real race car driver. He runs Wing 360s. And so it's very cool to see, and it gives the racers something to do. It gives the fans something to watch. And then obviously, we also have our on-demand, and we've been running a 24/7 channel that has that as well. And so we're keeping busy. It's not as good as having live racing and going to the racetrack, but it's still a lot of fun.
Wow, Chet, that's great to hear that you've been that busy. I mean, so many of us are at home and twiddling our thumbs trying to think of projects. So it's great that you've found a way to keep busy. And when you look at iRacing, you don't need to be specific, but just out of curiosity, how do the numbers compare a streamed iRacing event versus a real event?
A lot of it depends. It depends on what's running. It depends on who's running it, and that's obviously Kevin Swindell is making some big waves in the iRacing world and picked up a couple of World of Outlaw iRacing event wins and different things like that. But if you get some known names racing with you, our streams, generally speaking, when it's all said and done, whenever we end the live stream itself, we're right about 10,000 views on that, which is pretty impressive, I think, for iRacing. And then as the week goes on, they'll pick up, they'll more than double in numbers for that. So it's pretty impressive, actually, in the whole scheme of things. And it's just as good as any big event. But again, it's a free broadcast, and that obviously makes a big difference.
Yeah, it is. It is. There's a lot of differences and a lot of bored people out there too. So jumping on, Chet, my question is as a very, very part-time announcer, I do the summer shootout at Charlotte Motor Speedway and maybe 2 other races a year. What is it like announcing races sitting in front of not at the racetrack?
Well, it's funny you say that, because iRacing, for one thing, is whenever you're announcing it, you have a multitude of camera views to pick from. Okay. And so you can actually see the whole track at once. You can watch different parts of the track. You can watch from the driver's point of view. That takes a little catching on to, but once you are familiar with it and kind of comfortable with it, you do it without really thinking. And I just had an incident the other night where you get so into it because you're into the view. The view's right there. It's like you're at the racetrack. And we had a car that there was some contact made, and the car went into the wall. And my initial thought to myself was, oh, man, he's going to be hurt, because it was a hard hit into the wall. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is iRacing. He's not hurt. But it literally, you get that involved in it that you kind of forget the fact that it is iRacing.
Wow, that's neat. And it's funny that your mind just initially thinks injury, and then like, oh, no, they just have the reset button. They're all good. Yeah, we have possibly a big event coming up this weekend. It looks like it's going to happen. Terry McCarl's promoting at Park Jefferson Speedway. You guys are going to stream the event. Talk about maybe how this came about and how the logistics are just going to be. This is something that's new for all of us.
It is, and we're kind of this also is testing the waters a little bit to see if we can pull off events like this, and it's something that I'm sure other sports are looking at as well. And one of the big things we were, whenever Terry announced that he was going to do it, we were very involved with that. And we're financially behind it as well. We're trying to make this deal work, because that's one of the first things everybody's like, well, how are they going to pay the purse? You're limited on the number of people in the pits. There's only 700 grandstand tickets. They're all sold, which I'd like to point out that Park Jefferson holds about 3,200 people. And so that's less than, or right around 20% of the grandstand is being utilized. So there's plenty of room for the people to spread out. And they also know whenever they get the tickets, whenever you're coming into the pits, they know that you need to spread out. You need to maintain social distance. And there's no crossover between the pits and the grandstands and different things like that. But it's a deal where obviously we're looking towards the broadcast being a big financial part of this event to help it all work for the drivers and work for the promoters and everything else. And again, I wish I could tell you how it's going to go. We don't know. We hope that it's going to be big, and we hope that it's going to be well received. My major concern at this point is not necessarily the racing world, but the general public, and that's one of my soapbox issues, is that I like talking about the fact that we in the racing industry feel like there's a ton of us, but the reality of it is we're a small percentage of the population. I'm afraid the general population might look at this and be like, hey, you can't do that because I'm not allowed to go to my softball game. So,
yeah. It's been a strange when Terry actually kind of broke it to us last week on Wing Nation. He was riding up to Park Jefferson. We didn't know where he was going. He wouldn't tell us where he was going. And I've had all of these conflicting things in my mind. It's like, oh my gosh, we're going to see sprint cars on the racetrack. I'm so geeked up. I'm so excited about it. And then it's like, oh boy, this could cause what is the general public going to say? So stay tuned and we'll have to see. It's going to be fast. Are you going up? Are you doing it, or does they have someone there on site doing it?
No, I'll actually be going out. Toby Cruz and myself will be announcing the event, but that's something that we already talked about as a crew. SpeedShiftTV ourselves are going with a minimal crew. We'll just have maybe four people there. And we already talked about the fact that we're not going to interact with each other. We're fortunate in that we're just bringing basically 4 crews together, so everybody has their own gear. So with the exception of just passing the cable off, we don't have to interact with each other at all. And then we also have it set up like in the booth. Whenever Toby and I are in the booth, there's just 3 people in the booth. It's Toby, myself, and the scoring person. And we will be spread. There's plenty of room in the booth for 3 of us to be spread out. We don't have to interact with each other. We already have boxes of gloves. We're all bringing our masks. We're trying to think all that. And it's part of it is the fact that, we're representing racing world, but also it's on a national or international stage, I should say. It's the only sporting event that will be taking place in the world. So it's going to be under a massive amount of scrutiny. And that's the thing that I said is we have to make sure that everybody that's at the facility realizes that we're going to be under a microscope and people are going to be watching, and everybody needs to mind their P's and Q's while we're there.
For sure. You mentioned you'd be under a massive audience and scrutiny, which is scary, but there's also huge potential. I mean, you look at the entry list for this race, on top of it, like you said, being the only sporting event that people will be able to watch live, but you have Kerry Madsen coming, Reitzel. There's some big names, Corey Eliason. There's some great potential for Speed Shift this weekend.
There is, and there's great potential for great racing at that facility. We've seen it in the past. Whenever we used to broadcast the National Sprint League, we stopped there and saw some tremendous races. And so I'm looking forward in that respect, but also it's been a while since I've seen race cars on a track. And so that's the worst part about it is my last event that we were broadcasting got rained out. And so, I missed out on a couple of dates there, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And like you said, the field of talent is second to none, and it should be absolutely incredible racing this weekend.
Man, I'll tell you what, I'm all jacked up about it. It's going to be exciting. It really is to see sprint cars on the racetrack and to be following along. Yeah, you mentioned that my last trip, I flew from Charlotte to Syracuse, New York, to arrive at the parking lot to find out that we were shut down. And so, yeah, I have a little stinging, burning taste in my mouth from my last trip to the racetrack, too. How many races a year on average do you do, Chet?
I'm around myself. Speed Shift is over 500. We have over 500 nights of racing, but myself, I'm around 135 to 150 in there somewhere. It's just, I keep busy. I keep on the road. Right now, I'm in an undisclosed location on the East Coast. It's kind of like being in the witness protection program. I've been back here now for 5 weeks and hanging out with some friends of mine. They have a big place, and actually I have a room at their place. And so I've been back here for 5 weeks, and yeah, I'm going to journey out across. I'm going to pack my sleeping bag and stuff in the truck. I'm just going to sleep in the truck and skip the hotel thing, stay away from everybody. I got gloves to put on when I pump my gas, and we'll make this happen. It's going to be fun.
Fun indeed, that's for sure. I think one of the last time or one of the times I chatted with you, you were sleeping. We were delivering donuts up at Port Royal, and so
yeah, I do that a lot. That's part of living a life on the road. Everybody thinks that as a full-time announcer, you just are making money hand over fist to that. And that doesn't seem to be the case for me. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong or what the deal is, but I'm having a lot of fun.
The glamour portion of it, that's for sure. Well, Chet, we look forward to this weekend. Of course, it's SpeedShiftTV this weekend, and we look forward to that. We look forward to your call up there. And Erin and I have talked about this. We appreciate so much what you guys do. As we live our lives, we can follow sprint car racing because you and the other guys and gang doing all the pay-per-view. So we appreciate that, and we wish you the best this weekend, and wish you the best once we get back after it as well.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on. This has been fun. My first I guess video conference.
There we go. Zoom. We're zooming in to whatever. Well, there's got to be a catchy name for Zoom here on it with racing. So we'll have to figure that out. But Chet, we appreciate it. Thanks again, man.
Thank you.
There we go. Chet Christner joining us. And again, this weekend it's SpeedShiftTV Saturday night from Port Jefferson International Speedway, where Terry McCarl has the 410 race and the modifieds. Kenny Wallace is going to be racing his modified as well. Stay with us. More Wing Nation in just a moment.
Pride. Passion.
Performance.
We are
Team Drydene.
Power isn't born, it's built over time. For over 65 years, Hercules Tires has been providing the muscle to move more drivers, whatever the vehicle, whatever the terrain, and we back it with a powerful protection plan. So wherever the road or the trail takes you, we have the selection, value, and strength to get you there. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Drydene and DRF Racing Oils, as well as Hercules Tires. We're having a great time, and we're so glad you joined us here on the program. Speaking of Hercules Tires, we'd like to remind you that we're down to 1 week remaining. That's right, 1 week remaining for you to count on Hercules Tires to have your back when times are tough, all while adding money to your pocket. That's right. What you can do is you go to HerculesTire.com/spring rebate for more information. But with the purchase of 4 qualifying tires between now and next Thursday, the end of April, you can potentially win a $70 gift card from her Visa prepaid gift card. So great stuff from our friends at Hercules Tires. We also love when we get a chance to talk about that beautiful prime piece of real estate off from turn number 2 at Knoxville. Erin, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, that is a slice of heaven over there, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, I really hope we get there this time. We will get there in August. I'm not even going to say that we're hoping. But absolutely, I can't wait to get back there. And I'm excited to see the new Greg Hodnett display that they're working on. As Jason Side said on Tuesday, he was getting some cars together for that display.
Yeah, the Sides. We have the Sides Motorsports Racing Team. We have the Sides Bar and Grill, and now apparently Sides Transit, delivering race cars. So pretty cool stuff. One of the things we love to do with the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, we love to talk about their birthday calendar. Monday, the birthday of Judd Phillips. Later this week, tomorrow, Friday, Kenny Jacobs. Later, Arthur Chevrolet. But today, now this is going back. Okay, Bob Berman. Now, he was inducted in the class of 2011 into the Sprint Car Hall of Fame. Listen to this, Erin. He was born on April 23rd, 1884, up in Michigan, okay? In 1909, he won the Prestolite Trophy race. Now, the Prestolite Trophy race was at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This was the forerunner to the Indianapolis 500 that didn't start until 2 years later, 1911. He was in that race. He also was one of the land speed record holders, not only in Indianapolis, but also at the famed beach down in Daytona. And he was just one of the early pioneers and racers. And sadly, as happened a lot of times, April 8th, 1916, at 31 years of age, tragic crash at Corona, California, crashed along with 3 of his riding or his riding mechanic and 3 other people. So we talk about the advent of the sport and how it's all changed. That crash, 5 people perished in that, including Bob Berman. So we look at this and it's like, wow, the history of the sport is great to capture, but boy, sometimes it's not great to ponder what it was like back in the day. I'm kind of glad we're living when we are now. That's for sure.
Yeah, once we get past this virus.
Yeah, no doubt. That is for sure. True dat, as the kids say these days. Hey, Knoxville Raceway, we've talked a lot about all of this simulator racing. They're having the Knoxville Nationals Simulator Contest. It's going to feature purse, prizes, more. It's coming up August 12th through the 15th in the Emmett Malloy Pavilion. That's under the Clausen Tower. That is there at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. So, Erin, even the Sprint Car Hall of Fame getting involved with the sim racing with their big nationals coming up in the month of August.
Yeah, that's actually something they started in previous years, and now it's grown. So they were ahead of the curve on the whole iRacing thing.
Absolutely. And speaking of iRacing, our friends at the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, they're going to be in Knoxville. Their next race is Friday night sim racing at Knoxville. And this was fun last week. They ran at Williams Grove, and it was a fun race, fun time to watch. Great to hear our buddy Brian Hulbert calling the call. And so the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, they're going to be, or the iRacing Tour, if you will, is going to be on display there at Knoxville Raceway. Of course, you can find out more information about them, all their regional tours, all of the great racing action. Their point leader is Harley White, as we sit right now, at ASCSracing.com. That's ASCSracing.com. And with that, I think that's going to put a big old bow around sprint car talk here for us for this week, Erin. I'll tell you, it's always fun to catch up and touch base and see what's going on in the world. That's for sure.
It is. We talk a lot about some of the hidden blessings in this whole virus. There's more time with your family, more time, to enjoy the small things in life, or at least we've had some of those conversations. Yeah. But put that into sprint car racing and what we're doing on Wing Nation, we get time to talk with people like Chet or Ron last week, where during the crazy busy, during the season, we usually are just catching up with people on current events. So that's been a little hidden blessing in all of this.
I agree. A lot of hidden blessings in this time period, and I'm enjoying some of those as well with family and the home time. It really is. I'm ready to go sprint car racing, but I agree with you. We're finding it where we can. Coming up later this week on Saturday morning, a guy that has just absolutely done well during this sim portion of racing, Kevin Swindell, is going to join us on our Wing Nation program presented by Sage Fruit on MAV TV. That's on Saturday morning. And, of course, you can follow us on Twitter and on Facebook, on our group, on our pages there, the YouTube channel as well. All kinds of great stuff on there. But, Erin, just always fun to hang out, and we'll look forward to talking next week here on Wing Nation.
Absolutely. It's one of my highlights. I mean, it's always one of my highlights of my week. But right now, being quarantined, is by far my favorite time of the week.
Absolutely. The kids are on lockdown, the animals are on lockdown, and we get to have a little sprint car talk, that's for sure.
Exactly.
So we appreciate Chet Christner for joining us, but more important than all of that, thank you for joining us here today on Wing Nation.
This has been the Wing Nation Podcast. Find Wing Nation on wingnation.com, Facebook, YouTube, or your favorite podcast provider. The Wing Nation Podcast is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.